You can buy beautiful lamps, warm bulbs, and still end up with lighting that fights you every day. Because the mistake that actually wrecks a room's lighting usually has nothing to do with the lamps you picked. I have renovated more than 500 homes, and there are 3 of these that I see over and over and over. 2 of them get locked in before a single light goes up, which is exactly why they're so expensive to undo. So today, it's just 3. The 3 lighting mistakes I'd avoid at all cost, why each one quietly ruins a room, and how it feels and works, what the cost is to fix it, and then exactly what to do instead. Mistake number 1, letting your electrician decide where your switches go and how your lights are zoned. Here's how it happens. Nobody makes a real lighting control plan, so the electrician wires it the standard fast way. Every light in the great room ends up on a gang to one switch. The dining room can't dim separately from the kitchen. The switch for the main living space is somehow behind the pantry door. And because it's all the wiring that went in before anyone thought about how you'd actually use the room, well, you're stuck with it. The reason this matters so much is that control is most of what makes lighting feel custom. You want your kitchen cans, your under cabinet lights, your island pendants, your dining fixture, each on their own switch and their own dimmer, so that you can throw full light on for cooking and then bring it down for the glow of dinner or late night. And then all independently. When it's all ganged onto 1 or 2 switches, the room has maybe 2 settings, and it never feels right for what you're actually doing in it. Now, this is the expensive one, which is why it leads once the dry wall is up. Changing how your lights are switched and zoned means opening the walls and ceilings, running new switch legs, sometimes adding a circuit, then patching and repainting all of it. Now, this could cost you anywhere from $2,000 to $20,000 depending on how big the house and how intricate your lighting plan. Plan this before the rough end and it costs you nothing but a conversation. So hey, have that conversation. Real quick, this is the kind of thing, the calls you have to make before you do rough end. It's what's free in my renovation playbook. Guys, come on, room by room checklist, hand it to your electrician so no wire goes missed. The link's in my description. That's it. Let's go to mistake number 2. Hanging your fixtures at the wrong height. This one is everywhere, and it makes even a great fixture just look wrong. People hang pendants and chandeliers where the chain happens to land, and it's almost too high or floating up near the ceiling like it's afraid to come down to the room. Once in a while, it's the opposite. Hung so low, everybody's ducking to get by it. Either way, your eye reads that something's just off when you walk in. There are real numbers for this, so write them down. Pendants over an island should be at the bottom of the fixture 30 to 36 inches above a countertop. A chandelier over a dining room table should be 30 to 34 above the tabletop, low enough that it anchors the table instead of drifting over it somewhere, and anywhere people can walk if you want at least 7 feet of clearance, so nobody's dodging and ducking light fixtures in their own home. Get these numbers right and the modest fixture looks intentional. Get them wrong and an expensive one, well, it looks like an accident. The good news, this one's actually cheap to fix. If it hangs on a chain or a cord, electrician can rehang it and adjust the height with a single visit. $100 to maybe a few $100. The only time it gets expensive is when the junction box itself is in the wrong spot and it's not centered over the island, because then you're moving the box, patching the ceiling, and repainting. And that could run you anywhere from $500 to $2,000. And mistake number 3, glare. Light sources firing straight into your eyes. This is a trendy one that no one thinks through. Exposed bulb fixtures, the bare Edison bulb look, that's been everywhere, and cheap recessed cans with no baffle down inside of them. They look fine sitting when they're switched off, and then you turn them on and sit down at a dining table or a couch, and there's this raw, bright bulb burning right into the corner of your eye. Your eyes never relax, the whole room feels harsh, and you wind up never turning the lights all the way up because it's uncomfortable. So you paid for light fixtures you're afraid to actually use. Doesn't seem smart. With good lighting, you'll see the effect, not the source. So keep the bare bulb out of your eye line. Or recessed cans with a baffle or a recessed trim, where the bright spot is tucked up inside the housing instead of glaring down at you. On open fixtures, run a shade or a frosted bulb instead of a clear one. And put the whole thing on a dimmer so you can bring it down to a level your eyes actually like. None of it's really expensive. Trims, bulbs, a few bucks each. And a new fixture, a couple $100. But it's the difference between a room feeling calm and one that feels like an interrogation. So let's tie this together. 3 fixes. 1. Make a lighting plan before the electrician wires a thing. Walk the room and decide what belongs on each switch and where. The dimmer, the cans, the under cabinet, the pendants, the dining room fixture, it all gets zoned the way you're going to live before the drywall goes up. Number 2, hang your fixtures at the right height. 30 to 36 inches above an island counter, 30 to 34 above a dining room table, and always make sure you have 7 feet of clearance anywhere for people who walk. Number 3, kill the glare. Make sure you baffle or recess these trims on your cans, frosted bulbs on these open fixtures, and a dimmer on everything so that you never have that eye-piercing light. So those are the 3. Plan your switching before the walls close, hang everything at the right height, and get the glare out of your eyes. 2 of them are nearly free, and you catch them early, well, no big headache. And if you don't, no big deal. You can deal with them. But the electrical plan, you better take care of that before the drywall goes up and you get moved in. Now, my money is on the switches. I think half of you just overlooked it, and you're gonna tell me in the comments. Let me know if your switches are in a horrible place, why it bothers you, and what about these 3 lighting problems that you've dealt with and are ready to fix. You know me, I read all the comments, and thank you for watching Built by Becker.